you're one of those people that I'm so glad people are hearing from, because sometimes people think it's a fluke. Sometimes people might be like, oh, but she just met a nice guy who's got money or something. That's why everything's changed.
Too much has happened for it not to be a fluke. Like,
right. So exactly. So, and also you could meet that guy and stuff it up. You could meet that guy and lose
the thing
with your old self-concept.
Yeah, this is the thing. You know, I could have met him 4 years ago, and it might not have even got past the first date.
Exactly.
You know,
or like you said, you wouldn't have given him a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
it's all about you.
What do you do now? What do you do now to maintain this? So now you've created this amazing life for yourself. What are you doing to maintain it? Tell us.
Half my head.
Hello. Hi. So I remember seeing your success story. I think I've seen 2 in the squad. Have you put 2 or 1? There was one with your picture and you looking different. I think I remember.
I posted a few. I posted a few of my holidays. But yeah, it's been a journey, Loz. It's been a journey.
Oh, amazing. So tell me when did you start watching me, and why did you start watching me?
It was around January 2022. So I originally found you on TikTok, and I was in that kind of crazy law of attraction, following everyone and anything to do with manifesting. And it was, I think, like everyone, it was originally to get a certain SP. So I was constantly looking at, you know, TikTok videos to how to manifest him back, like affirmations. And then your videos just kept popping up. And then after a while, I kind of thought, oh, she's a bit different. Like, something's not right. And then I think it was they're not something's I'm not doing something right here. So then I just carried on watching you, and then I watched your YouTube religiously for a long time. This was obviously before the squad was even around, so I kind of got to grips quite quickly with the main kind of self-concept issues, but it took me a long time to actually fully get it and fully get that it actually was all me, and it wasn't down to anything outside of me.
What did you discover you were doing with that specific person that you picked up on, that you realized you might need to change with that specific person?
Oh, I was constantly just affirming for him. I had massive not chosen issues, but I didn't even know about self-concept. I just thought, you know, it was like these magic being affirmations that, you know, he loves me, he'll just come back. And then obviously shortly after watching you, I discovered that it was about self-concept. I'm like, oh, what's this? Because no one's spoken about this before. It's slightly different.
Right, exactly.
So I kind of half understood it, but it took me we're talking about 2 years for me to actually fully understand it properly.
I think it's also the accepting of it. I think it's the accepting of it also. A lot of people don't want to know that. They're coming for the magic bean. They want to just listen to the affirmations or do the magic trick, or it's like, guys, I'm sorry. At some point, the penny's going to have to drop. This is all you. Otherwise, when you do get them back, you'll lose them. That's why I started my account, because it was the losing them that was the thing also. Either you couldn't get them back or you get them back and lose them. So that's why I think I'm a bit different. So then with that, did you start working on yourself more when you discovered that it was you? What did you start to do?
I did. So I started to, at this point, I was, you know, just watching YouTube, and obviously trying to listen to people that had similar kind of scenarios to me, because I quickly gathered that I had a massive not chosen issue. So I thought, right, that's one. So I was affirming, but at that point I think I was kind of robotic affirming and still thinking that it was the affirming that was doing it, and I was also doing it for this particular person, not for me. It took me a while to grasp.
Realization there that a lot of people haven't had.
So my life did actually start to change just with the affirming for some of my main self-concept issues that I'd realized I'd had, but it was like a very slow, it didn't quite get into gear until I actually then realized, oh, hang on a minute, I think I'm not something wrong here.
So what did you start to do differently then? So when you weren't robotically affirming or really focusing on them, what do you reckon you tweaked? What did you start to do different?
Well, I joined the squad, I think, last year at some point, and then it was then that really kicked it into gear. I've obviously done quite a lot of the courses, and I'm not joking, honestly, it's the best thing since I did that. I don't know if it was reading other mentors' stories or watching a coaching.
Right.
Something clicked when I thought, I've been thinking about this the whole, you know, I've not been doing it for me. I've been doing it
this wrong. I think, look, the coaching, because the coaching you can't find anywhere else but the squad. I think a lot of time people are saying, oh, when I watch the coaching, I'm getting what I'm doing wrong, or I'm hearing this person's story and it's so similar to me. And a lot of people have had penny drop moments purely watching the coaching, because I don't put that anywhere else, because it's someone's private coaching. And because you guys get to experience it, you can hear your own stories, you can hear your own problems, you can see what they've done wrong, you can hear me unraveling their story, and then going, well, that's why this is happening. And then you go, oh.
That's exactly what happened to me. It was almost like a light bulb switch. I can't remember which live it was, but it was the whole subject was about it being for you and you not doing it for someone else. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I've been doing. And that's when it really kind of changed.
What did you start to actually do? Because everyone's going to ask, like, in the comments, but what did you actually do different? So what do you reckon you did differently, like actually did?
First of all, started to realize that it's not something that you're doing. You're always consciously manifesting, whether it's good, bad. You just go, it's like breathing. But because we're not taught this, it's not a natural thing for us. I think that's why it takes some of us quite a while to understand, because it's like, hang on a minute, we've been almost told a lie. Like, this is this natural human thing that we have.
I tell you what, I just did a video, Rhiannon. I just did a video on YouTube that's about why your manifestation routine failed. All about don't have a manifestation routine. This is a lifestyle. And I bet you, I will get comments saying, but she didn't give a manifestation routine. Like, why didn't you listen to the video? Right? Because what you're saying is, the penny hasn't dropped with 90% of people that this is all day long the state you're meant to be in, the state you're meant to get into. Not
it's
the
like
things
a diet, like a food diet. You know, you wouldn't go on a fad diet, and yes, you'd lose weight at first instantly because your body's not used to it, but then eventually it's not sustainable. It's exactly the same thing. Like the robotic affirming, because you've never done it, okay, it might work a tiny bit, but it's not.
So then what do you think so when you realized, okay, this is all day long and this is a lifestyle, what were you doing then? Were you getting on top of your thinking and changing it when you thought it? Were you telling you stories to yourself during the day? Were you having inner conversations, or were you telling yourself, like, is this true? Is this not true? What do you reckon you were doing differently?
I think mainly assessing my thinking throughout the day. That was a massive one.
Right.
Because
assessing your thinking throughout the day, not just having a technique happening at a certain time or a thing you were doing and relying on like a sleep tape. You were assessing it. So instead, and when you were assessing it, were you judging yourself and getting annoyed at yourself, or were you going, I'm thinking this shit?
I think that was the realization to actually think, do you know what? Things happen in life. We can't control everything. And I think because I had a massive out of control, my life's out of control, everything's not in control. That was my main issue. I then tended to panic. If something happened, I would freak out. But it was more just like, it's okay, don't freak out. But let's just write down what's happened and then think, okay, what was I thinking? Now we go change it. Let's stop beating the drum of whatever it was that's caused it. But it's realizing
I said that once in a coaching, stop beating the drum of this story. People are like, I love you saying beating the drum, because even panicking is beating the drum. Like, oh my God, like being triggered. And last night I did a live that will go on YouTube, and people were like, what do I do when I'm triggered? I'm like, you've got to recognize the trigger and look at the trigger and go, why am I getting triggered? It's not even about how do I soothe myself whilst being triggered. It's like, but I created
why are you triggered in the first place?
Why are you even triggered in the first place? So you doing that and saying you were able to get out of a panic, you were able to observe yourself, you were able to decide that you weren't going to panic anymore, and ask yourself, what did you say? Do I need to be thinking this right now? Whatever you just said. That is a huge thing that a lot of people aren't doing yet, and that's why they're going and doing this emotional regulation or whatever the fuck they're doing, because they can't calm themselves down. They can't soothe themselves. So you somehow found a way to like self-soothe yourself whilst you were in the panic and move past it, which is really huge. Because if you're panicking a lot before,
it's exactly. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all still, it's human. We still feel anxiety sometimes. You know this, but once you're in that moment, you know, you're not. It's only. There's no point stressing over something. It's only going to make it worse. So it's easier saying that. You know. me saying that, but
so when you started doing that, then what started to change, do you think?
I've noticed a massive shift. So even though by that point, I think this was around the Fuck the 3D time, like that was the best course ever, by the way. I loved it. It was amazing. And Back and Begging as well. But I think it was that kind of really made me sit and assess. That was when I kind of realised that, you know, it's more about the mental diet and actually thinking, okay, it's fine, but you just got to assess what it was you were thinking and then be calm about it and not panic. But then I noticed things shift massively just in the way that I handle things, me feeling more in control, which was really important for me when things aren't favourable. And I have noticed that I'm able to turn them around very, very quickly now.
Good. And how are you turning it around? What are you doing?
So I'll give you an example. So for example, my mum, she recently last week had a mole removed on her face because they thought it was cancer. So they're like, we're gonna get it out. And she went to the hospital, got it out, and then she said to me, because my mum and dad don't drive, so she said to me, "Oh, Rhi, can you drop Dad and I to the hospital because the doctor's called. He wants to see me." And obviously in the UK, we have the NHS; they're amazing. But for the doctor to call up in the hospital, especially an NHS one, saying you need to come back now, and she's previously had cancer.
So you know, oh no.
Naturally, I'd be thinking, why are they calling her back? But I was like, no, it's, you know. I just imagine especially the latest videos on with the telephone technique on the level. I just imagine being on the phone to her and her saying, "Oh yeah, no, the doctor said I was fine." The exact same thing happened today. I'm not joking.
Wow, really?
And one of the things about imagining lovingly, so she has a skin condition, she has psoriasis, and it's quite bad. I've been imagining her without it. She's had it my whole entire life. And what the doctor called her about was because she went to a dermatology department, they'd noticed her psoriasis, and he said, "Oh, but I've noticed it's obviously quite bad. We'll start treatment for it." So that's why they called her in.
Brilliant.
So it's like a double whammy of me changing that and her getting treatment for the skin condition. I was like, God, that was quick. I only did that the other day.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I did that a couple of years ago. Like a doctor told me that this spot on my face was cancer. And I said to a pharmacist the other day, I was almost given, what is it called, chemotherapy cream? This fucking thing. And if I'd believed that doctor and not gone away and changed the story, I would have fucking put chemotherapy shit all over my face. And I was like, and afterwards I said to the girl, it's not even skin cancer, it was like psoriasis or something that's even gone away now. So I was like, I just had to change my thinking and not listen to that fucking doctor. So that's brilliant. So, okay. So tell me, so let's go back. So when you started to change and you started to assess your thinking and everything, when did you go from wanting your old SP to then finding a new SP or not wanting the old SP anymore?
Oh my God. So the original SP, when I first found you, he went a long time ago. I mean, this was, God.
Really?
2022. I mean, it only, about, God, that year I think I had. But the thing is, for anyone worried, because I used to watch at first, and when people would say, "Oh, I didn't want my original SP," I would think in my kind of triggered mindset, "Oh, could they not get them then? What was it?" I promise you, they come back, but I cannot describe it. The only people understand is if they've actually been in that situation. You do not want them. Like, they will reflect your new self-concept. They will reflect, but they're still their own person. You look at them.
My
like,
old SP took me out for my birthday. I know, my old SP took me out for my birthday last year, turned up at my doorstep looking like a supermodel. He used to be a model on TV, right? He looked like he used to look. This man turned up looking like I should have been in love with him. I said, "Whoa, what have you been doing?" Still didn't want him. Like, he completely transformed. He wasn't drinking anymore. He totally. When you have changed, you don't want them. It's just people don't get it until they've actually experienced it.
I think it's,
and I know that people get triggered hearing it, but
the best way of describing it is your type changes because your self-concept's changed.
Yes.
The type of person you fancy changes. So then therefore you don't fancy that person anymore. It's the strangest thing.
Exactly.
But I promise you, it's happened twice to me.
Oh, it has.
It has.
Okay.
Has happened twice. Oh no, it's just going to say.
So I did.
Well, the funny thing is as well. I think it was just before I joined the squad last year. I did an Ask Loz video, and I don't mind people knowing it's me. It was just more. I was anonymous because on YouTube I did the video. I did.
You did? Okay.
I did. I cannot even watch it. I give myself the ick. I cringe. So the situation was I was seeing someone. This was before I was with my current partner, and he was married. And I was asking how I how I could make him be with me, basically. And I half got it. And I remember you saying, like, she's half got it. She knows it's coming from her, but why she's saying make him? Like, you can't make him do anything. And I'm not joking. So when that changed, I mean, that situation did change. But then I kind of thought, do I really want to carry on with this? Because yes, I can have this particular person, but I don't think I want them. The reason why I fancied that person, and don't get me wrong, lovely person, he was a nice person, he wasn't horrible to me, but the reason why I got myself in that situation was because I felt unchosen. I was kidding myself thinking, oh well, it was just circumstances that we met. No, I would pick somebody, like, I'm sorry if anyone gets triggered by this, but I would literally pick a married man out of a room without even knowing that he's married. Like, I'd been on dates with people, and they said they was
another finger, and I wouldn't notice. And my friend would be like, "That guy's married." I'm like, "Not again, not again." And they'd be like, "How do you pick him in a room?" I would be in Oktoberfest in a giant tent and pick an unmarried guy was there without his wife. I'd be like, "How the hell was this happening?"
It's crazy. And I think that's why I knew, even before I kind of started learning about it, that the main one was also not chosen, because of the previous history of the men being either
because your relationship
married.
history, because your relationship pattern will tell you what your self-concept is.
It was so severe that it was that obvious. But the thing I was missing, which you pointed out in the video, was that I have a massive, or had a massive, out of control, I'm not in control, and I missed that. So I realised that I had the not chosen just purely from my relationship history, but I was missing the out of control, because growing up, my dad was in Africa, and I didn't have, I've had a thing where I felt like my life wasn't in control, and I didn't have control over who I lived with, and everybody else, it was on their terms and not mine. And I didn't realise I had that. So it was only once I then realised that, and, you know, started getting that into my subconscious, then things massively changed.
Really?
But yeah, so I was missing that.
And then you
that's
took
what I was
your need
missing.
for controlling everything away, and that's why you probably were trying to do the affirmations, change them before, and then you were like, hang on, if I'm just changing me, I'm taking the need to control everything away. And then you went trying to manipulate the 3D so much, probably, as well. And I didn't realise, as well as the not being chosen, that it was also, I would bring in situations where I'm not in control, like they're the ones that they're the ones that, and I didn't realise that. I'm thinking, and then I realised why I started to fancy. So I was like, you know what, I don't fancy you anymore. Like, and everything that person was doing was giving me the ick. I don't want to. And I noticed before I discovered this, I used to, obviously I know what's right and wrong, actually, but I used to fancy married men, and I used to think it was because I found that person attractive, and then now I realise it was actually because they were unavailable, and that's what, not because I'd want to do anything wrong or hurt anybody else, but the unavailably would draw, it was like a magnet, like I don't know what I can't describe it. And now, I can look at someone and you can obviously say that someone's physically attractive, but I would not, that would turn me off completely. It'd be complete. So like when you met your current boyfriend, what was different about him?
Oh, well, he was single. So I met him on Hinge. I met him on Hinge, actually, and I wasn't like,
that's a good start.
That's a good start, Loz. He was single. I wasn't frantically looking on dating apps. I had dating apps for a while, and to be honest, I'd known him, but it was like very, you know, we just kind of met on a dating app and just knew each other. And then it was kind of a slow burner, because when I met him, my self-concept I still didn't get it 100%. So because he was such a nice guy, I didn't necessarily find him attractive at first. I was like, oh, he's too nice. But something in me gave him a chance. Something in me stuck with it. Because I thought, no, come on, we're sticking with this. This is not. But at first, I thought,
when you know your self-concept issues, you go, is that about me?
Yeah.
Is that about me being so used to unavailable people? This guy's so available and so here for me and so nice. I'm not used to it. And it's giving me the either I'm not attracted to it or it's giving me the ick. Like so many of you come in and say, he speaks so great to me. Now I've got the ick. It's like, because you're not used to it. It's not about the so nice to you. It's about you.
It just feels alien.
Yes.
And, you know, he wasn't like nice as in like doormat nice, but I just wasn't used to it. And I knew that that's what it was. So I stuck with it.
You gave him a chance. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, he is the nicest guy. You could not meet a nicer guy. So I've got a son who's 4. He's met him. He's amazing to him. But it's not a situation where, so he's older. I've always gone out with older men. And at the time when I met him, I was still only dating older men. So I think now, if I wasn't with my partner, they would be a little bit younger. But obviously, I'm with my current partner. But he's just, it's not the typical older man, younger woman situation, though. He's not, he is very wealthy, but he's not, not in a controlling way, if that makes sense. He's very much, you know, for me, going out, making my own money. He's like, helping me with, or has helped me with my finances. He's paid off all my debt, so I can have my own stuff and get my shit together as well. It's not.
But you know what? Actually finding a wealthy man or a guy who's got his shit together is part of your self-concept improving. I know that sounds terrible, but in a sprinkle Shearer 7, find a non-dusty guy way, you will want, you will be attracted to or make concessions for the dusties, as she calls them, because you think, oh, this is all I deserve, or blah, blah, blah. And when a good guy comes along and he's got his own money and he's financially independent or he's wealthy, like in your case, you think, I deserve this. So if he's buying you things or doing things for you, your new self-concept will allow that person to spoil you, buy you things, be, you know what I mean? Like your old self-concept might not have even handled a man like that.
No. And the funny thing is, I mean, we obviously, like, he takes me to really nice places, we go on nice holidays, but it's very much, I can't describe it. When your self-concept changes, you change as well. Like when I used to date, I used to have really high expectations because I was with friends that would have the same, like you know, my friendships at the time, they were all reflecting me. So I would attract in friends that would have really shitty self-concept. So of course you will talk about dating and you know, so I would have like these really high expectations that I wanted to be taken to like the best restaurants, and if I wasn't, then they wasn't worth it. Like everything would be a red flag. And now I'm like, so I would date men with money, but they would just be reflecting the complete wrong vibes. And I guess because I felt so unchosen, I would expect that, because I'm like, you need to prove that you love me. You need to prove.
I used to do that. You have to prove you love me stuff. So much with my unchosen shit. And I used to do that. If you're not taking me out on a proper date, then you obviously aren't showing me that you like me, or all the time. And I think, and now I think, so fucking dumb. If a wealthy guy has got heaps of money, sometimes he won't take you to the fancy place straight away or whatever, because it's showing you how much money he's got. So he might take you for a coffee, and then you're going to dismiss that guy with your unchosen issues and think, well, he wasn't making the effort, and all he was doing was trying not to show you how much money he had on the first date.
You know what the funny thing is? So the funny thing is, so my partner that I'm with now, he was telling me that when his stepdad met his mum, he was very wealthy, and he picked his mum up in like this old banger of a car deliberately, even though he had like the best cars at home. He had like Bentleys, because he didn't want her to obviously think like, you know, that he had money. Like, it's very common. But I think it's weird when your self-concept changes. You watch things like, I was thinking of, you know, like Married at First Sight, or like reality shows like Love Island, whatever.
God,
and so you see the bad self-concept, you see it and you're like, I can't even watch this, like it's so bad.
I know, and you just think, oh no, I want to get in the screen and help them.
I know, it's so bad. Especially,
so then,
like,
when did it go from the dating coach stuff? So tell me, okay, so then now tell me how you handle, like, going forward. So now you've got this new guy. When your issues come up, do they come up anymore, like your self-concept things?
Not
with him, or
not really. I mean, obviously, you know, it's never perfect, and that's one thing I will stress. Obviously, like the post that I have put, like, oh, I'm on these amazing holidays, I'm on here. Obviously we have bad days. I still have days when I'm like, oh, I feel a bit anxious, but the bad days are about 90% less than what the bad days were previously. Amazing. And you know how to handle them. And, you know, it's not saying that you're going to go throughout life and nothing bad's going to happen and everyone's going to be skipping in field, but it's more when things come up, you know how to handle them. You know how to think, okay, let me just assess this. It's not, you know, there's no panic running around with your head chopped off. So I think it's that's what's most important, but I don't really
and
get
I think
anything
I remember good, and I think I remember all the other stuff from your posts in the squad, like your new car, a new job.
I've got another one since then.
That?
So the job I've got now, it's really weird. So the original SP that I was manifesting that I didn't want, when I was sort of visualizing, I was imagining myself and that person in an apartment, and I don't know why. I thought, okay, I was an office manager at the time, but it was maternity cover. So I thought, right, let me imagine myself in the new job. I imagined myself as a PA, working from home, going into the office once a week. I don't know why, I just did. I ended up getting a job exactly down to the T.
Amazing.
And then there was another job that I wanted. I can't really say what it is because it's kind of like government security. So I'm going through recruitment for that, but I manifested that completely. Obviously
amazing.
I still have to go through the recruitment process, but I went for the interview, and that particular interview, like, it's quite well known that it's about 2 weeks until you hear back. It's like a face-to-face one. And I thought, no, I'm going to be the best person that's walked through that door. They're going to be talking about me. I'm going to hear back today. I heard back 2 hours later and I got the job.
No way. And
yeah.
It's normally like a 2-week wait.
Yeah.
What? Tell me about the car. Because the car looks pretty fancy.
Do you know
what was the car?
It's so weird. So even before I met him, I've always kind of liked McCann's.
An alarm going off. Hang on.
Porsches.
Whoa, I can hear an alarm. Oh, here it is. It's right near me. Sorry. Say that again. Sorry, what were you saying, guys?
So I've always liked, I love Porsches, but for some reason I've always liked the black Macans because I just think it's nice. It's like a day-to-day car. And I don't know why, but I just imagine myself driving it, but not like constantly. Just now and again I'd have the visualization of, so I drive a Mini as well, but when I'm in my Mini, I would just be driving along and imagine that the steering wheel is the Porsche steering wheel and that I was in a black Macan. And this is only like a few times I did this. And then I met my partner, and when I met him, he had a Bentley, and then he just had like another, I think it was a Tiguan, a Volkswagen. So he didn't have a Porsche. And then about a month later, he sold the Volkswagen that he had and got the exact Porsche that I was visualizing myself in. But I never mentioned it. I never even said to him, oh, I really like this particular car. Like, it never even come up in conversation. He's just like, oh yeah, no, I'm just going to sell that car and get this one. And I'll insure you on it. You can drive it. Because he's like, I've got the other one. So it's in his name. So the visualization works. It's just obviously the car was in his name, but I drive it. I'm insured on it. I drive it. So I've got two. So it's weird how it comes about, because I never would imagine that it would be, I'd meet this, because this was before I met him. Like, I'd have a boyfriend who then got that car, insured me on it, and then I'm then driving that car every day.
But this is why people go, someone asked me the other day, oh, why can't we work out the how? How could you possibly work that out?
You can't work it out. You honestly can't. And I like to give things good meaning, even if at the time I don't quite know what the good meaning is. I just say to myself, right, this is going to have good meaning. I don't quite know what the good meaning is for it, but it is. And then it always turns out well. So like, even with the process that I'm kind of going through at the moment with the new job, I hope none of my colleagues are watching this because I haven't had my notes in yet. Something come up, and I'm thinking, God, how the hell did I manifest that? There was a little blip, and I thought, that was it. I was thinking something, and then it came up. So I quickly changed it, and now it's fine. But I've noticed that it's very quick now that I can kind of change things over. But you can't think how. Like, you can't think, oh, how is it gonna? Because I used to do that, and I think that was part of the control. Like, wanting to be in control thing.
So what are you doing then? So you're just going to the end. So with that
completely
thing, what did you just went to the, like, this is resolved. It's going to be resolved or something. I don't know how
resolved.
It'll be right.
Yeah, it's going to be resolved. I just think to the end, or imagine myself having a conversation with someone. If that doesn't work,
I write down what they're going to say to me. Like, they're going to say, it's fine. You can just just do that. And I'll be like, and I'll stare at it, and they're going to say, and then I'll pick up the phone, have the conversation, and then they'll literally go, oh, it's all sorted out. What you can do, you can just pay off the thing over. And I go, and I look at the people,
mad,
and I'm like,
it's
I feel like going, I just said that.
No, that's it. And I think it's just not panicking so much about it, not thinking, oh, do I go to the end, or do I imagine a conversation? Like, just do both. It doesn't really matter, as long as you're like, it's sunk in and you're kind of seeing it in your mind's eye. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know if other people might find that, but I used to stress a lot about whether I'm doing it right. Because another thing that I had was I do things wrong all the time. So I would constantly feel like there's something else to learn, and I would constantly watch your videos, but in the wrong way, in a sense that, like, because I wanted to learn something else, I felt like there's something missing. There was something else I needed to learn, and in a sense it's like, no, you're doing everything right. I still watch your videos every day, so but not for,
and you can
because
watch,
I'm feeling,
but you're not becoming an addict of watching and thinking
yeah,
just the watching is going to work. You start doing the doing. Like, I was a big watcher, reader. I mean, if you saw like the amount of fucking books I've got over here, like the every secret book and all that other shit I used to read, and the thing is, you can do all the reading and do all the watching, but if you're not doing the doing, then it's not going to make much difference. Or
it's watching and feeling like there's something missing, you're doing it
something
wrong.
Else.
You want to learn, there must be another thing. And I was in that kind of energy for a long time, where I kind of felt like there must be something else I need to learn, like I must, you know, you're doing it to get the thing, but it's not that.
And what else has improved in your life? I think you were talking about your son and the relationship with his dad.
No, definitely. So that was a massive one. I never really wanted a relationship with him back, but I kind of thought, right, I want to be friends with him, and I want him to be, because previously there was, I mean, nothing. So my son's 4, there was not one, like, no contact, nothing at all, his whole life. And then I kind of thought, God, no, this is me. Like, and it was coming to the realization that the whole situation was caused by me, and accepting that, and then thinking, right, okay, I'm going to change this now. And I actually, at the time, I was completely blocked on everything. I didn't think anything of it. I thought, okay, then, oh God, my camera's...
He blocked you on everything?
Completely. So the whole
even
4
though you
years,
had
my son's...
even though you had a son together? What?
Yeah, so the situation...
the son, so he had no contact with him?
No, never. Oh God, my camera's doing an absolute 380 now.
No, really?
Yeah, no, completely. And I think that was obviously linked to the, you know, clearly linked to the self-concept issue. So originally he was my boss, and then we were seeing each other for 2 years, and then I fell pregnant, and then he had a partner who found out, blocked. That was it. Didn't hear nothing. But we'd not planned for the baby, but when he found out I was pregnant, he was fine with it. And then so that was, and then I realized that I caused the situation, and the thinking that I had behind it then caused the end result of what happened. But I needed to accept that it actually came from me. Once I did that,
thinking behind it that caused the situation?
That, well, obviously attracting him, that I wasn't chosen, but then when I was pregnant, it was more thinking that he was going to choose her and not, you know, obviously not want to be with me. And then it must have just spiraled, and then it ended up like being complete no contact from when I was about 4 months pregnant, and that was it.
So if it was your thinking that he would choose her, then the natural, actual physical machination of that as a manifestation will be, he will then have to block you out of his life, even though you have a child together, because he's chosen her wants over yours, and chosen her over your child and over you. So therefore, the only logical manifestation you can have with a person that you think is going to choose another person when you're in an affair situation or you've had a child is for them to literally go, you can't contact me anymore, and I also won't have contact with your son. I am totally choosing my previous life and this person. See so you know how that happened.
Exactly. And it was realizing that, and I think even though for a while I was kind of visualizing stuff and, you know, affirming in my head, I hadn't really grasped exactly what I was thinking, and I hadn't saturated my subconscious enough. It was obviously so strong, and I was still thinking about the third party being an issue, because I got completely stalked on social media. It was absolutely mad. So I one of the, I don't know what it was very recent, I think it was one of your last coaching he was talking to a girl, and she was saying about, I don't know, one of her partners had a third party who had blue hair or something like that, and he was like, imagine she's a Smurf, and at that moment I thought, oh, I'm going to imagine she's a little Smurf, and I kid you not, this was like a week or two after. So I don't like really saying this to people, because you should really only do it it came out of nowhere. I don't know why I did it. I messaged him because I opened Telegram, which I don't really use. I use WhatsApp, but I've got Telegram, don't use it. I opened it and I saw that he had Telegram. I thought, oh, okay. Don't know what made me do it? I just did it in the moment. Like, if you ever feel like you want to message someone and you're not sure, don't do it. But I did, because I felt so confident. I thought, well, I'm doing this anyway, so he's, you know, we're friends now, it's fine. Doesn't really matter what happens. So I messaged him, and then I thought, a couple of days went by, but I wasn't really looking at the time. I wasn't concentrating on time, but I told myself, I said, he doesn't use Telegram, his notifications are off, and he's lost his phone. And then I forgot about it. And then about a week or two later, I'd got a message from someone else, opened the app, and I had a message from him. The first time in 4 years, I had a message from him. Oh my God, Rhiannon, I'm so sorry. I don't check this app. Exactly what I was imagining, and I told myself, was what he said. I don't check this app. And it was only when I'd accidentally opened it or something, I saw your message. And then it was like a whole long message about, I'm really sorry about how things, you know, like happened. I'm not with her anymore. We're not together. He's like, look, feel free to contact me on WhatsApp.
No.
Yeah, he's like, feel free to contact me on WhatsApp. So now I've obviously got him on WhatsApp. He's like, we'll obviously arrange to meet up and talk. Yeah. And this was after, well, my son's 5 in October. And when I say it blew up at the time,
I've lost my AirPod. Somehow. It dropped out of my ear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
What's that? There it is.
Yeah,
so,
no, honestly, the actual situation was mad. Like, it was absolutely, it was bad. It was really, really bad. But then back then, my self-concept was awful. Like, even when I look at photos of myself from back then, you can see the bad. I know it sounds weird. I didn't look bad, but you can just see the bad. So I can see the bad self-concept.
I remember seeing in the squad, you had like before and after photos of yourself, and you can see when a person seems not happy or set. Yeah, just you can see it. Yeah.
Completely.
And so, what's the situation with him now with your son?
So we're friends at the moment, and then we're just gonna take it from there. And
right. So everything changed. So you've had change with the relationship with your ex or your baby daddy. You've got now a situation where you've got your dream job. You've got a beautiful man who also spoils you. It's like everything changed. Not just, that's why this is such a great success story, because it's not just one little element of your life.
It's everything. I mean, oh my God, if somebody saw me 4 years ago, you wouldn't even think I was the same person. I mean, obviously I posted a picture, but I mean, it's weird. Like, to me, it's normal because this is who I am now and this is my life. And you kind of forget. And it's only when you get like a Facebook memory or something pop up, you think, oh my God. I mean, I was, you know, I was obviously a single mom. I had my parents for support, but I was in a really bad situation. I was in a very low paid job. I had no money. Like, all the jobs I had were really low paid. I felt awful about myself. And I just, to be honest, I didn't even have relationships because it was that bad that I couldn't even get past the second date. I couldn't even get a boyfriend, like, let alone have a bad relationship. That's how bad it used to be. And it's kind of been a very slow, gradual process. And then, it's completely changed. I mean, I don't think I even went on holiday back then. Now I've been on like 7, 8 in the last year.
Where have you gone?
So I've just recently come back from Switzerland, and then in January I went to Sri Lanka, and then Greece, just everywhere. Really. Yeah, all with him. Oh, and I manifested getting Swiss citizenship as well. So I'm obviously British. My dad's got a Swiss passport, so I always knew I could get one, but you're supposed to register yourself, like register your birth before I think it's 24, something like that. And I'm 28, so I thought, God, it's too late. But I thought, no, it's not. I'm getting it. Because I just decided in my late 20s that I wanted a Swiss passport. And when I applied, I don't know why, because even on their website it literally says that you have to be, I think it's 24, whatever the cutoff age is. I just said, no, it doesn't matter. Somehow, even though my dad swears blind that when I was born he didn't register me, I was registered, so I was able to get a passport. I get my passport next month, but I'm a full like Swiss citizen now.
That's very handy when you're, super wealthy.
Well, it was when I met my partner, actually. He was like, you need to get a passport. But yeah, and it's just because my son could get one as well. So when he's older, he can go live there if he wants.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God. See, everything changes, guys. So if Rhiannon isn't proof that everything changes, then you're not listening.
It honestly, it really does. Like, people kind of look at my posts and just see like the holidays and stuff like that, but I promise you, my life 4 years ago was completely different, like completely different. And it's not about, and I did it as well, but anyone listening, because most of the people start doing this to manifest an SP, like it's not about anybody else but you. Like, this is about you, and you shouldn't want to do it to get somebody else. You should want to do this to change your life, and then yes, you'll get the SP, but then everything else changes. You only get everything else when you do it for you. So
oh,
but
I'm so
took
glad
a while for me to realize that.
Yeah, because otherwise, honestly, darling, you're one of those people that I'm so glad people are hearing from, because sometimes people think it's a fluke. Sometimes people might be like, oh, but she just met a nice guy who's got money or something. That's why everything's changed.
Too much has happened for it not to be a fluke. Like,
right. So exactly. So, and also you could meet that guy and stuff it up. You could meet that guy and lose
the thing
with your old self-concept.
This is the thing, you know, I could have met him 4 years ago and it might not have even got past the first date.
Exactly.
You know,
or like you said, you wouldn't have given him a chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
it's all about you.
What do you do now? What do you do now to maintain this? So now you've created this amazing life for yourself. What are you doing to maintain it? Tell us.
So I don't really have a routine. I think the main thing is just keeping on top of your thoughts. So, I mean, obviously you can't do that all day, but whenever I can, so like when I'm driving, when I'm, I don't know, going out for a walk or whatever, I'll just really kind of listen to myself. I do have some things, so like I'll listen to sleep tapes and stuff like that, but it's more it's more the mental side. And then on top of that, I think it's the Parrot app. I basically recorded my own personal affirmations and I play them when I sleep and when I'm doing stuff, but it's more that's just to kind of saturate it into my subconscious. But I think it's more the keeping on top of my thoughts is the main thing, because that's when, you know, when you let it slide, that's when it starts to
and when you hear your thoughts being negative, or you hear your thoughts going back to the old way, what do you start saying to yourself?
You just flip them, completely flip them. And sometimes what I'll do is what you recommend to do. I'll just sit there with a notepad and just write shit down for 20 minutes and just see what comes out. And it always shocks you. There's always something there. And I mean, obviously the mini courses, I love doing those. So that's kind of like a daily, that's quite regular as well. So I'll do things like that. And I think that's just, I mean, the courses are fun. I do them because I'm fun. I like to be in the state of someone that doesn't need to do the courses, but I do them because A, they're fun, and B, it's just keeping on top of it and reminding your brain. So obviously this is something where you've gone your whole life not doing. So as much as you've saturated your subconscious, you still need to keep doing it. And that's what's so good about the squad, because it keeps you on top of, you know.
Exactly. Well, this is the thing. A lot of people, I think the mistake they make when they meet the person of their dreams or whatever, they stop doing all this. And they think, oh, well, I've manifested it now. And it's like, and that's when you've got the danger of slipping back into the old thinking when something triggers you in the 3D and you don't get on top of your thinking, or you still had a tape running in the back of your mind, and then you lose this wonderful thing you've manifested, and then they come crying to me and go, and it all went to shit, you know, and you're like, the whole time, did you just be in this wonderful, oh, so happy, and everything's great, but your shit started popping up again, you know, like look at John Johnson's, like story. I mean, he manifested back, got married, everything, and then lost her. You know, I had to get her back. Like, he's an example of like, you can get it all and lose it if you're not really vigilant. You know, so darling, that's wonderful. So you just keep doing what you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
and you've got
you.
Like,
honestly, you've actually changed my life. I honestly can't thank you enough. Like, if I hadn't found you, like, my life has changed so much. It really has. And what you're doing is amazing.
That's lovely. So guys, if you want to find Rhiannon in the actual SWOT, you just look up her name and you'll see the success post. You'll see her car.
And then back when my self-concept wasn't as great, you'll see me frantically commenting in the help me in the Ask Loz post.
But that's really good, because if you can go back to seeing someone's frantic post in the Q&A and then see their improvement, it's quite good. Like, it's quite helpful for people. So think, oh God, I'm that person right now in the Q&A, and look at her now. So that's wonderful. Oh, wonderful, darling.
Thanks.
Yay. And do you mind if I put this on YouTube?
Of course, no problem at all.
What title should we give it? we say manifested a wealthy man. What should we call it? Her whole life changed, manifested a new lifestyle, luxury life, manifested a luxury life or something.
The penny finally dropped.
Yeah, the penny finally dropped. Oh, wonderful day. Oh, Rhiannon, thank you so much. And I know you're going to have continued success, because you know when I know someone's going to have continued success, because they've radically changed. Radically. You haven't just half-assed changed. So that success is not going to go away.
Yeah, no, exactly. And anyone that's watching that's kind of new or that feels like they haven't got it, you will get there. Like, I promise you, like if I can, anyone can, but it's about you. It's not about anyone else. So that's the
because if you think of the elements, the negative elements of Rhiannon's story, like those of you who are blocked right now, baby daddy had blocked her. Like,
yeah, and I mean, it wasn't just blocked. It was like the complete nothing at all, and that was after picking out baby names.
So no contact with your son.
No,
nothing. Like just went
from about 4 months pregnant. It happened, and before that we were picking out baby names. So yes, it was still a 3P not chosen relationship, but he was very happy to be part of it. Yeah, and it was complete blocked. And then I got harassed by the ex. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys are in blocked situations, you say, but how do I turn this around? Listen to what she's saying. Go back and watch this whole interview and be like, did she concentrate constantly on him unblocking her? Did you hear that in the story? No. Did you hear her frantically writing text that he said, I want to be part of your son's life, la 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 la, him, he does this, he does.
Really helped as well, just quickly, it was the back and begging. One of the meditations in there, I think a lot of people found a particular one really helpful, and it was doing that. I was like, oh, I did that. Right. And that's what really, really done it. Obviously not that.
Because you forgave him for what he'd done.
And then forgave myself, and then realised that he was just a reflection of me. Then that's what really kicked it into gear.
Because if you hadn't forgiven him and forgiven yourself, then if he got back in contact with you and was contacting your son, and anything triggered you about what he was doing, like he came back but then he didn't ring enough or didn't see him enough, you might have kicked off and then lost him again from his life. You know what I mean? So you had to totally understand that you caused the whole situation to be able to forgive him. So then when he did come in, he came in and stayed.
Yeah. And also it's slow, as you say, it's like slowly catch your monkey, guys. It's not like, I think people panic. It's, you know, they do reflect you, but it's not like, obviously on day one, they're not going to be on their knees proposing. It takes a while. It's like a normal situation, right. You know? Exactly. You don't date someone and they're not like, you know, but yeah, it's anyone who's not done back and begging it, please do it, because it's really good.
Oh, that's lovely. So anyone who's struggling with being blocked or struggling with choosing unchoosable people, unavailable people, if you're in a bad financial situation or a job you can't stand, or really go back and watch this and listen to what Rhiannon's saying about everything she radically transformed. It's not just a few things, and it's not, honestly, you don't hear in this interview you really focusing necessarily on the things. I haven't heard you talking about the car, or like, I did this for the car, I did this for the holidays, I did this for the job, I did this. Like, you're just like, oh, I'm going to have this kind of job, I'm going to have this, I'm imagining this kind of car. It was like a naturalness of the new lifestyle, but it wasn't like you were totally focused on the 3D or the other people or anything. It was like a transformation from you, and then you understood you deserve those things.
Of course, because if things don't make you happy, it's you. Only you can make yourself happy. You could be living in 10 mansions and have 8 million cars, but if you feel like you want them because it will make you happy, then you're not on the right. You need to make yourself happy first, and you need to see yourself as happy, because the things that you're trying to get to make yourself happy, but you're not happy, then are you? You're in a state of not being happy. Right. You only really, it takes a while to get that. But you can have everything you want, but that won't make you happy. It's only you.
Oh, Rhiannon, thank you so much, darling. We appreciate you so much. And guys, if you want to come join the squad and read her stories, go and read them, and go right back to the Q&A and read the questions too.
Oh, thank you so much, Loz.
You're welcome, darling.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. Oh, Rhiannon. So guys, if you want to read Rhiannon's success stories, go in the squad, look up her name, just write in Rhiannon. Okay. Look up her name. You can even look up, you know, new car, or you'll see all the success stories, and make sure you really listen to the success that she had and what she did. all about her mental diet that she got on top of her self-concept, okay, to radically change her whole life, not just parts of it. Okay, guys?